I need to pinch myself. I can't believe this is real life and I'm actually filming this video. I'm so excited for everyone to see this collection. So let's talk about my collaboration with Clionadh Cosmetics. Oh my god! We've been working on this for a while and I'm really excited to show you what we've come up with. This collection is called Light Scatters and there's a couple of different products in here. Of course, there's an eyeshadow palette. I wanted a name that basically embodies just sparkly, shifty eyeshadows and the way that they look in different lights, whether it's bright light, indirect light that is hitting all different angles, and the way that you see the shift and the sparkle scattering all across your lids. So without further ado, here is the Light Scatters palette. It is an all shimmer 9-pan palette, and I wanted the cover to be pretty colorful because I wanted the shadows inside to be pretty colorful. I was definitely inspired by prisms, and my coworker Zavi, who I've actually known for almost 10 years at this point, did the 3D render for the graphics that you will see on this packaging as well as the nail polish packaging and also the insert tissue paper. So he came up with this pattern and light is reflecting between all the different shapes and it actually kind of looks like a kaleidoscope, and I feel like that's very fitting for Light Scatters. So I really love how it came out, and the colors from the inside of the palette are reflected on the outside. And then of course we have the name here in this really funky font. I love that it had the sharper edges to it. It felt a little bit more geometric and it plays off of the cubes in the rendering. So there's 9 shadows. Some of them are a little bit more iridescent, a little bit more topper-like, and then some of them have a little bit more of a base to them. So I wanted a variation, and that way you could layer some of these on top. Especially this iridescent shade, it's really meant to be tapped over just anything. As you might know, Clionadh does have a couple of different formulations within their stained glass collection, and I love all of their formulas, but especially the really smooth formula, which most of these are a smoother formula. Personally, not a big fan of flakies or anything a little too textured because it tends to be a little trickier to use, and I just love that I can swipe these on. And the next product is actually super extra exciting because if you know, I have hooded oily lids. I talk about it all the time. Clionadh does have one of the best formulas in my opinion for hooded oily lids, and we formulated a custom shimmer shadow enhancer to really help out with longevity as well as fallout and opacity of shadows. And this primer is formulated in Canada and it is called the Shine On Shimmer Enhancer. It has the same font that is on the palette. It does have a doe foot applicator and it is a very thin and translucent formula. You really need just the tiniest bit. I like to tap it out a little bit. You have a little bit of work time, but it does set down relatively quickly because I find that anything that tends to take about a minute or longer to set down, I actually end up having more creasing with it. So for example, the NYX glitter primer, I would recommend this one for smoother shadows. This is not formulated for anything that's flaky, anything with a larger particle size, definitely not glitter. The next product is a bundle of 4 brushes that I picked out that I think are great for not only shimmer application, then of course I needed a brush to create eyeshadow wings with. And the last product is a set of mini nail polishes. 2 of the shades are from the eyeshadow palette, and then the third one is just a really beautiful, really punchy, super shifty, more kind of opaque type of shade. I love Clionadh's nail polishes. I think at this point I have around 30-40 of their nail polishes. So the ones from the palette are the iridescent shade because I love iridescent nail polish. I'm wearing it right now. They make me feel like I have the hands of an ethereal iridescent fairy. And then the second shade from the palette is the green, and this one has a hollow in it, so this is a holographic green nail polish. And then as I mentioned, this one is super fun. I will be showing you close-ups of all of these, and Clionadh will have the nail polish swatches as well as the eyeshadow palette swatches on different skin tones on their Instagram, so make sure you check those out as well. So let's get into the pricing details. The palette will retail for $89.99 Canadian, which is about $64 USD, and the nail polish trio will be $19.99 Canadian, which will be about $14.61 USD. Primer will be $18.99 Canadian, about $14 USD, and the brush bundle will be $22.99 Canadian, about $17 USD. I will put all the details in the description box, and this collection is launching November 29th at 3 p.m. Eastern time. Now the collection is not code eligible, but I do have an affiliate code which you will be able to use on other products on their website. And stay tuned for videos upcoming this week. I will be doing swatch comparisons as well as eye swatches as well as looks in the next week or so before the launch. So let's get into the detailed swatches of each of the shimmer shades. I'm going to be talking about texture, sparkle, shift, etc. And then I'll be showing you how I created this look with the Light Scatters palette. So let's get right into it. So here are the top 3 shades. You can get an idea of the textures. So this one is very smooth, metallic, like jeweled lights. And then this one is a little bit more PC, and so is this one. And then for the live swatch, The top shade is an iridescent with white and red flecks straight onto it, and then it shifts to yellow to green. And the second shade is the long lost sister to Myrrh. This one is a vibrant yellow base with a bright blue flash straight on and shifting to violet and indigo. And the bottom shade is a vibrant orange, sometimes a little bit pink as well depending on the lighting, shifting to yellow, orange, and green on an angle. These two shades could be a little bit more sheared out, but this one will remain pretty much opaque. This is the center row. These are all very smooth. We've got a topper, more iridescent shade that has hollow in it, and then these two are very smooth and quite opaque. So here's the shade with the hollow in it. And then this shade right here, I think might be one of my favorites in the palette, if not my favorite. The first shade has a purple flash straight on, shifting to pink, peach, and orange at a harsh angle. And then it has a very fine hollow flecks throughout it that are brought out with bright direct lighting. The shade below it has a greenish base with a blue flash straight on, shifting to purple, all the way to gold on a harsh angle. And the bottom shade has a light plum base with a pale gold or pale yellow flash straight on, and it shifts aqua, teal, and blue. And the last row, also very smooth and more opaque shades. And this green shade has hollow in it as well, super finely milled. And then we have the long lost sister of Mural. Adding just another layer. These are all very smooth and quite opaque, though I think the top shade you could maybe shear out a little bit. It has a brown base on an angle. It's very vibrant, bright green, almost like a glowy neon green straight on. And then it shifts to blue to purple with that brown base. And then the shade below it, I love how punchy this one is, and it's very grungy. Lime green base with a orange flash straight on, and it shifts to gold to green. And then the bottom shade is a bright pink with a denim blue base that shifts light yellow to gold to green and has a little bit of teal in there as well. And just a little bit of hollow for that little surprise when you're in direct lighting. This feels so surreal. I'm so excited to be filming this. So I primed with the Ulta Veil eyeshadow primer. I am going to be using the Shine On Shimmer Enhancer, but this is for shimmers only, not for if you want to go in with mattes first. And the Ulta primer is nice because it does cancel out some of my veins. It's not the most opaque, but it's opaque enough where it kind of just blurs the look of my veins. So I'm going to be creating an eyeshadow wing with the shimmers. I'm going to be doing an all shimmer look. So I'm going to be using this brush and picking up just a little bit of the primer from the doe foot applicator. And I'm going to be drawing that down where I'm going to be putting down the shimmer shade. So in a wing shape, I'm taking the shade and that's going to go above the lash. It's going to be the main part of the wing. And then picking up this shade, and it's going to go underneath my lower lash line. I'm going to connect it with that wing, and I'm going to take it just a little bit further in here. Same brush and the primer, just putting on a very thin layer right above the wing. And I'm picking up the center shade, and it's just going to go right over that. And I'm basically just going to do a little rainbow going up. It's not going to be in the correct color order. Next, I'm just going to take the doe foot applicator since I'm like right above. I don't need to be as precise, and I can just use the tip of the applicator. And when I use the doe foot applicator to apply, I always like to take my finger and just tap it out. You really want a very thin layer that's just tacky enough. And I'm picking up this shade, and that's going right above that. And basically, if you want these shades to be the most opaque, I do recommend using the primer, putting down a little bit more of the primer, and I'm putting it above that shade. And I'm picking up this one, and that's just gonna go as like a highlight right above that. Went a little crazy on the other eye. And just really highlighting up here, and I'm kind of ending it and rounding it here. I'm taking the primer underneath my lower lash line into my inner corner, and first taking the shade And that's gonna go right underneath the rest of my lower lash line. And then picking up this iridescent shade, and that's gonna go right on the inner corner. And here's the finished look. And here it is with flash. I can't wait to hear what everyone thinks of the collection. I'm so excited to have been given this opportunity from Clionadh. So thank you so much to Clionadh, Maggie, and Lee for doing this with me, because it has been so much fun. They let me do whatever I wanted, and they've been such a pleasure to work with and just so supportive. I fell in love with the brand when I first bought my very first jeweled multi-chromes from them, and the rest is history. I've just always found they have an extreme consistency of product quality, and they really stand behind that. They really know what they have to offer to everyone, and I just really appreciate them, and I'm so happy to be able to bring this collection to you, and I hope that you have as much fun playing with it as I had creating it. I mean, we went through a couple of rounds. This is actually pretty impressive. And I want to thank every one of you who is watching, who comments, DMs me, you name it. Your support means so much to me, so do not feel pressured in any way to buy anything from this collection. Just watching, interacting, sharing, etc. is plenty. I love chatting with you in the comments and in my DMs. Time is precious, and you choosing to spend your time to watch my videos is just so meaningful. And that's everything for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you next time.